Yo, what is up and welcome back to another Legendary Luke video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about tips, tricks, and advice for solo queuers in Apex Legends Ranked. I can guarantee that what I talk about in this video will help you gain RP and obtain a higher rank as a solo player. And as someone who solo queued to Masters on both PC and console, I know what I'm about to talk about works. This isn't just my advice either. I made sure to only include things that were supported by pro players and recommended by other high-level solo queuers. So this video is what I truly believe is the ultimate solo queue guide, with only the most important advice for achieving a high rank as a solo player included, and I think some of the tips may surprise you. Tip number 1 is to judge your teammates. I used to think that judging my teammates was a bad thing until I started actually doing it. As a solo player in Ranked, every game you are put on a squad with 2 different teammates that you probably don't know and haven't played with before. Going into the match, you know nothing about their skill or playstyle. Your job is to then win a competitive game getting as many kills as possible. By far, the roughest part of solo queuing Ranked is the inconsistency of not knowing your teammates from game to game. Their playstyle, decision making, and overall skill varies dramatically, and this is the hard part because you don't know what you're getting from one game to the next. To get more of this precious consistency, the best way is to judge and look at your teammates starting before you even drop in. Your task begins very first thing when you load into the Legends selection screen. You have to actually pay attention to which legends your teammates are selecting, and then you can base your own pick from there. I know basing your legend choice on your teammates might be controversial, especially when a lot of YouTubers recommend having only one legend you play in Ranked, but having more than one legend you play in solo queue is going to benefit you. Adapting to your teammates and trying to work with them instead of against them is one of the hardest challenges. And a big way you can work with them is by playing legends that have pre-existing synergy. So if your teammates select offensive legends, it might be smart for you to be a more defensive legend. And if your teammate is a Bangalore, you might want to choose Seer or Bloodhound. Having some synergy between your legends will help with easier teamwork throughout the match. Regardless, a balanced team comp will always be better than an unbalanced one. Those sweaty 3 stacks you play against are not just choosing legends at random because they enjoy playing them. They are making sure their legend choice fits into the team and synergizes with the others. Then right after the legend selection time, you get to see banners and past and current rank, and this is where the real judgment begins. Look at their badges, kill counter, what current rank they are, and what they finished at last season. All of these things will help you to know right away their general skill level and knowledge on the game, and more importantly, how much you can rely on them. It is very important to look at what rank they are. If you notice they're in the 4th tier or below you in ranked divisions, I would be very careful about how much trust and reliability you put into them. Another big thing you want to watch out for is smurfs in duos. If you spot a smurf account as your teammate, you can take that as a green light to land hotter, fight more teams, and put more trust in that player because you know they are probably better than most everyone else in the lobby. Likewise, if you get put on a team with a duo, you know they will be talking and communicating with each other and most of the time won't even use game chat. Signs to spot a duo are when they have the same clan tag, one is a controller player and the other a PC, or one player is lower rank than the lobby you are in. Getting put on a team with a duo is probably my least favorite thing about solo queuing, but don't worry, I have some tips to make it better. Most of the time, playing with a duo means just being along for the ride. They most likely will never wait for you, consider where you are, or help you out. They usually just end up doing their own thing and expecting for you to follow them. In this situation, the only viable option is to go along with them and play how they want to play, no matter if you agree with it or not. What you have to remember is it will not work trying to do your own thing in a ranked lobby, and your duo teammates will not go along with you over what they want since they are the majority. Playing with duos can get you big RP games, or be an absolute disaster depending on how you play it. Being able to play ranked in multiple playstyles really shows here. If your teammates want to play aggressively, you will have to do so also, and if they want to play passively, you will have to play passively with them. Going with the flow and having multiple playstyles will allow you to fit into any squad with duo queuers in particular, and overall benefits you massively as a solo queuer. I also want to stress the importance of inviting your teammates back after a game. If your only goal is reaching a higher rank and gaining as much RP as possible, then doing this will help you to find good players who share the same mindset. If you do what I talked about earlier and be a team player, then you will be someone people want to have on their teams. So once you do find someone that you like and work well with, keep playing with them. Unless you are trying to do a solely solo to masters run, there is absolutely no reason you shouldn't be inviting good teammates back. I can guarantee you that this is the best way to find a consistent rank squad if you are looking for one. These players will be people you know are good and you play well with, and if this turns out to be untrue, you can simply leave. Over time of doing this, you will eventually create a network of good teammates that you can play with whenever you want. And that way you can only play solo queue when you want, not because you don't have good teammates to play with. Another way of finding teammates that is not as reliable, but I thought I would still include anyways, is through Discords and Reddits. There are hundreds of different places you can go to try and find teammates for ranked. Usually there's a description of the player and what they are looking for in a teammate, and if you match that and want to play with them, you can reach out and see how you do. Personally, I prefer the inviting back after a good game method, but I know this way works too. My next piece of advice, and probably the first thing that all pros and high level ranked players will tell you to do when solo queuing, is to use your microphone. I know you have probably heard this before, but it's for good reason. Everyone should be using their microphones when playing ranked, and if you already do, then I'll give you some tips to make it even more effective. Communication is probably the biggest disadvantage that separates solo queue teams from pre-made squads. So obviously the goal here is to minimize this disadvantage as much as possible by using your mic and talking with your team. Doing so also directly benefits specifically yourself because it allows you to dictate what your team does and the decisions the team makes. Not using your microphone will result in decisions either being made by your teammates or just happening naturally, but by using your mic you gain that control and decision making power. Even if your teammates are not using their mics, you should still be talking to them about what you are doing and what the team should be doing. Most of the time they will be listening even if they are not talking. And if you don't want to make decisions or IGL, you can still make useful callouts like where enemies and loot are. No one is going to be upset at you for making callouts and it benefits the team, so why not? I also know a lot of people don't use their mics in solo queue because of toxic teammates. The biggest advice I can give you is to stay positive in that situation. For some reason, your random teammates, especially when they are duo queuing together, will assume that you are automatically a bad player. As long as you don't get mad and joke around with them, this attitude will usually disappear. In all my time solo queuing, I've learned that the only way to reduce toxic behavior is using your mic. Being nice and talking to these people is the only way you can get them to stop and join your side. It's pretty crazy how fast people will switch up from being toxic to you to inviting you to their lobby after the game, and it'll just be due to you not being toxic back. Honestly, some people just enjoy being unpleasant to randoms or may just be having a bad day, but after all, they have the same goal you do, to gain as much RP as possible. So by making it clear that you want to cooperate, most of the time they will too. Other than using your mic to benefit the team, take control and work better with your teammates, there's one final big reason for unmuting your mic and using game chat. It will get people to like playing with you and help get lasting teammates. I can guarantee that using your mic in ranked matches will get you invited back more often than not using it. Most people like playing with someone with a mic because it is simply better than not. Also, it improves the team chemistry so people will feel like they work well with you. I can say I get at least twice as many invites after matches when I use my mic than when I don't, which is saying a lot. All in all, using your microphone is something every good solo queuer has to learn how to do in order to be more successful in ranked and gain more consistent RP. Next up, I want to address something that has changed in the solo queue meta very recently. If you've been solo queuing ranked for a while or watching older solo queue guides, then chances are you'll hear that you should be ratting and hiding for RP. I can confidently say this is no longer as viable as it was in past seasons, and is a strategy you should abandon for the most part, at least for the time being. There are several reasons I and others no longer recommend ratting, but the main two come down to legend meta and RP changes. In the current legend meta, Seer is very prominent, especially in higher end lobbies like diamond lobbies. Seer is the ultimate rat exterminator. In lobbies where there are more teams closer together, there's almost no chance of escaping from Seer's passive heartbeat ability. The chances of being discovered as a rat are now much higher. In addition, ever since Ranked Reloaded, the RP system and the way you get RP has catered more towards kills and eliminations, and away from placement. They have now made some updates to the original Reloaded system, but the main idea of it still stands. Eliminations and placement now work hand in hand for gaining RP. If you want a good, positive RP game, you can't have one without the other. If anything, kills are more important with the uncapped system. So that poses the problem that even if you do manage to rat into a top 5 situation, your kill count is still so low that you won't really be getting anything except spending 15 minutes sitting in a corner. Taking fights and playing more confidently is by far the better way to go in ranked nowadays, even as a solo queue player. You might have to do some ratting every now and then. If you're the last player alive on your team and it's looking like there's no way you can win the fight, then yeah, in that situation I would cut your losses as much as possible and try to rat it out. In today's meta and RP system, ratting and hiding is just not as good as it used to be, which is something everyone should be aware of, especially when older guides are recommending it. Lastly, I just want to give some broader advice to all the solo queue players watching this video. This very same advice was given to me by one of the best players in the game and has helped me out ever since then. That advice is to be patient and understand that you will improve during the process. Solo queue players are probably never going to be able to gain the same kind of RP at the same kind of speed as pre-made squads, and that's just a fact. Solo queuing is a grind that you have to be motivated and ready for, but it is also a process that will make you a better player and help you improve massively. Remember that just because you are not gaining RP now does not mean you won't in a week. I think a lot of people forget that you get better by playing the game, making mistakes, and dying. I can guarantee during your solo queue experience there will be both a lot of mistakes and dying, and that's how you know you are getting better. When I started my road to Masters for the first time, I wasn't good enough to make it right away. But as I continued playing, I got better and eventually to the point where I was playing good enough I could solo queue through Diamond. If you keep playing and keep trying at it, it's only a matter of time before you achieve the rank you are going for, whatever it may be. That was it for the video. I only have one tip left for you guys. It helps a lot to put trust in and try to work with your teammates. I feel like it's always been a culture of calling random teammates trash and dismissing them before the game even starts. This kind of mindset is killing your RP gains and stopping you from ranking up. Even if they are not as good as you, they can still be useful and you will be better off with them than without. At the end of the day, solo queue players need to work together and use teamwork for the benefits of all 3 players on the squad. And that should be your primary focus when you load into a game. I actually find that solo queue teammates are usually some of the better skilled players there are. Think about it, pre-made squads and duos have the benefit of synergy and comms on their side, plus the added bonus of consistency. Solo queue players don't have this and have to mainly rely on their own personal skill from game to game. So imagine a team of solo queue players using teamwork and communication effectively. They would get the best of both worlds and be unstoppable. For me, this is always the goal anytime I load up Apex Legends Ranked as a solo queue player. But like I said, that's it for the video. I really hope you enjoyed it and have more success in Ranked to achieve the rank you want. I would really appreciate it if you could like this video and also subscribe if you haven't already. I would also encourage you to check out my channel. I have a bunch of Apex related content that can help you improve on every aspect of your game. I hope you have a great rest of your day and thank you for watching.